Friday, which means it's time for this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Christopher. This show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, live to mastermind to grow your real estate business. And what we're talking about today is something we're pretty decent at, using video to generate leads for your real estate business. Now, video is such a powerful tool, and video is the future of advertising and really being able to communicate with your market, your consumers, your potential clients in massive scales and massive levels. This is one of the things for you guys out there that are worried about, what about, Zillow Instant Offers or Redfin or whoever these companies are, these big companies, Amazon or whatever it is that they're dabbling in real estate with. This is how you will set yourself apart, by being able to have a personalized, delivered message directly in their hands. I mean, look at this video right now that you guys are watching. It's almost, we've got high definition. It's almost like you could reach out and touch me, like I'm right here talking directly to you. And that's what makes video such a powerful medium to advertise on. If you're not using video in your business already, you need to start using video. And it doesn't have to be as fancy as we do it here. You don't need to have a big fancy studio. You don't need to have a camera person. You don't need even very much technical knowledge to be able to do it on a level that's going to get you started and get you closing more deals, because you're going to be getting more leads. So that's what we're talking about today, using video to generate leads for your real estate business. I'm John Christopher. You're watching State of Real Estate. State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. State of Real Estate. And welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Carissimo. The show is brought to you by Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, to help you mastermind to grow your real estate business. And we're always talking about topics that will help you grow your real estate business. This is our way of giving back to our students, and even those of you out there that are watching that have not been our students, it's okay. Tune in. We want to help you out. We want to help you become more successful. We want to be a part of your success some way, somehow, even if it's just you watching our videos every week on Fridays. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button so that way you get updates whenever we go live. Hit that little bell icon so you get notifications. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Using video to generate leads. Now, before you do any form of marketing, whether it be video or otherwise, because look, video is probably the most effective way to actually market, but that doesn't mean that a postcard wouldn't work. That doesn't mean that a pay-per-click ad wouldn't work. That doesn't mean that a photo ad wouldn't work. This is just another way you develop omnipresence. So omnipresence needs to be your goal. And what does omnipresence mean? Omnipresence means that you're everywhere all the time. Think of the brands, the companies that you know right off the top of your head when you think of a company that you know, whether that be Coca-Cola, whether that be Ford, GM, Mercedes, car companies. They do a lot of advertising and marketing. Maybe it's Pepsi, maybe it's a sports team. Whatever the case may be, they've developed some level of omnipresence. Now, you might be saying, John, I don't have the budget of Ford Motor Company or whoever it is that's going to be that you're thinking of in your mind, of Apple, of Google, of whoever is doing this advertising. And that's right. We don't have the budgets of them. You probably don't have the budgets of them. There's very few companies that have that same budget. They can afford to advertise and market at that level. So how do you achieve omnipresence when you don't have this huge marketing budget? And the reason why I could say Ford Motor Company, and every person watching this video will understand who Ford Motor Company is they have a very long operating history. They were like one of the first automakers. They're really the first automaker with the whole Model T and everything like that. So they've been marketing for a very long time to everybody, at least in the United States, if not throughout the rest of the world. Maybe some of you guys watching from other parts of the world here, maybe you guys don't have Ford as big, but you probably at least have heard of them. Now, As you dive deeper into more niche type of companies where maybe not everybody has heard about it, but the people that have heard about it really know about them, this is about refining your target market. Your target market. Your target market. Target market, if you didn't get that word already. In order to be omnipresent, you first need to have a target market. You need to have a type of person in a specific location that you're advertising to. Now, how do we apply this in real estate to make sure that you're target marketing? Well, there's a big concept in real estate marketing called farming. And I've never really heard this term farming used outside of real estate. Farming is just marketing effectively. It's developing omnipresence in a small geographic area. So before you start marketing whatsoever, and before you start spending any money on marketing or really even investing time in marketing, because there are ways you could do videos as just, a post on Facebook, that you just go make a post on Facebook, or even the whole micro video format that is growing in popularity every single day. When I say micro video, I mean stories. So when you go on Instagram and you see the stories, or now Facebook also has stories, and really the starter of these stories were Snapchat. And whether or not Snapchat will be there in the future is another story. Maybe it's not the best way to advertise. Maybe it doesn't have the most longevity, but it might still have some opportunity that exists on there. So if you're just going to go post a video on one of these platforms, you're going to reach a limited audience, and they're going to be all over the place. Maybe somebody is in your target market when you're organically posting videos, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's through a story, whether you're just posting a full-length video on Facebook or Instagram, or whatever the case may be, maybe through Instagram TV or one of these cases. You might hit somebody in your target market. And so everything just there in black, imagine that you post a video and that's who sees it. Then you post another video. And now what's in blue is who sees it. Again, we hit our target market maybe once out of all the people that saw it. And then you do a third post and this third video. You got all these people that are seeing it. But now notice there's only, again, another person in the target market. But you're not hitting the same person. You do not have omnipresence when you're just posting organically, because you cannot control the organic reach. When that word organic is used in marketing, it means that you're just putting it out there and you're going to see what happens. You're going to put it out there, you're going to see what happens, and whoever sees it, sees it. And you might find some success. There are agents that have developed some success through organic social media or organic websites and things like that. But it takes much more time, and it's much more difficult because you don't have the control you have when you're paying for the advertising. So in order to develop omnipresence, when you create these marketing ads, you're targeting your target audience in your farm area, in that geographic area you pick to be ripe for the picking for business, to the specific type of transaction, the specific type of property. Maybe you're dealing with single-family homes. Maybe you're dealing with condos. There's different messaging you would have to somebody who lives in or would desire to live in a condo versus somebody who lives in or would desire to live in a single-family home or a townhome or whatever it may be. Maybe you're in the commercial real estate space and really you're not concerned with the homeowners at all. You're concerned with the businesses and the office space in that particular area. But you're not going to really see drastic results with your advertising and marketing campaigns until you have developed omnipresence, where you seem like you're everywhere all the time. And you could do that on a limited budget. The key thing is, though, you maybe got to tighten up who it is that you're trying to reach. Maybe even this first circle we had drawn out here is too big. So you're, again, narrowing down even further to where your budget will allow for this. And then as you start to close deals from these leads that you are generating, then you can expand out further and grow this audience. I mean, you could look up all kinds of stories of companies that started in a very niche market and were able to expand out of that as they started to see success. But when you want to use any sort of marketing, video or otherwise, that goal needs to be omnipresence. Now, there's some more that goes along with this whole omnipresence concept, and really it starts off with defining who it is that you're trying to reach with your video advertisements, with your video ads. And look, maybe you're doing one of these stories or an organic post. I'm not saying not to do that. I'm just saying don't count on results from organic post. You absolutely want to do stories, posting videos, and so on and so forth. The stories, I think, are a really great opportunity right now to tell your story. That's why they call it a story. And the whole idea that it expires after 24 hours, that takes a lot of the burden off of yourself of having to really try to craft something that's a perfect video. Your videos don't need to be perfect. Your videos just need to be seen. That's the goal here. And ideally, you want them seen in your target market so that contributes to your omnipresence in that area. But first and foremost, just focus on getting them seen by somebody. Because when you first start doing videos, now you might see me today talking to you here and say, wow, John is a great speaker. John is a great communicator. That's not something I was born with. That's not something that I really cultivated until I started doing videos every single day. And me doing videos every single day and talking to people every single day and talking to larger groups of people every single day is what turned me into the speaker that I am today. So what's going to work better? When you're doing an ad that's you standing there, maybe soft-spoken, not talking very, very emotionally, just talking very flat. That's not going to work in a video. You need to captivate and capture their attention. And that doesn't happen naturally. If you go back and watch some of the earlier episodes of State of Real Estate, of Ask the Instructor, of all these videos, if you could find the oldest videos of me that are out there, you're going to see a very different person speaking to you than the person you see speaking to you today. And you're going to be on this journey of growth and development of these skills. But if you want to use video advertisement, it's your branding of your face, of your image, of your voice that's going to connect with people. And this is going to be your differentiator. I know we opened up the show today talking about, Amazon and Zillow and Redfin and all these big corporate real estate companies that are trying to dabble into real estate to see if they could disrupt the market. And the reason why they're able to disrupt, if they will be able to disrupt, is they're only really going to disrupt the agents that aren't able to establish this relationship with somebody. This is very much a person-to-person business. Now, that's what these bigger companies are trying to do. They're trying to make it into a big conglomerate-to-person business. But there's that disconnect, especially when you're dealing with the largest sale, the largest purchase of people's lives. They want that person-to-person direct type of connection. So video is a great way to accomplish that. So going back to this whole story idea, what works really well for stories is you just telling your story of being a real estate agent. Now, you got to be careful that you don't give too much information, that you don't do too much where you're not, because what is the goal? Our goal is omnipresence, first one. That's number one for the goal is omnipresence. Number two is to start a conversation. That's what we're trying to do. We want to have omnipresence, number one, so they know who we are. And then number two, we want to start a conversation with somebody. So you'll see right now at the bottom of this screen, throughout the entire episode, call us at 813-333-2676 because we want to start a conversation with you if you're interested in taking your real estate career to the next level or even just starting your real estate career. We're here to help you achieve your dream real estate career. That's what we do. And everything that we do marketing-wise, it's all to start a conversation. First, number one, you're not going to get a conversation until you've got omnipresence, until everybody sees you all the time. And that's why if you've interacted with us, you'll see that we market quite a bit to the people that are in our target market because we want to have omnipresence, number one. So number two, we can start a conversation. So that way, when shifting it back into practicing real estate, when that person's thinking about selling their house or maybe buying a house, there's no doubt in their mind of who it is that they need to talk to. That they have fell in love with your brand and what you stand for and what it is that you do, and that they can't wait to do business with you. That's what we've cultivated at Tampa School of Real Estate. We have people that can't wait to take classes with us. And that's what you want for your business. But you're not going to get to that point until you start communicating. And you can communicate through the written word. That works, whether that's through emails or blog posts or whatever the case may be. Photos is starting to turn this up a little bit where they start to see pictures, but now it becomes alive. It becomes real when you've got somebody basically talking to you from their bedroom. that you're there on their phone, whether that's in their bedroom or on their couch or out by their pool or wherever it is, that you're there speaking directly to them through this indirect medium that is video. So video is super powerful, but again, you have to follow the rules. Omnipresence. In order to develop this omnipresence, number one, you do have to have that target market defined. So you do start getting that omnipresence within your target market. But then number two, you need to consistently be producing new content. And we do stuff every day at Tampa School of Real Estate that we're constantly dripping new content out there. That's a lot. We didn't start off doing every single day, but that should at least be your goal, that you're producing content every single day that you can put out there, even if this isn't just the form of maybe your stories. Maybe you're not ready to commit to start putting a budget behind this where you can take control of who's going to see your messaging that you create through videos. So maybe you want to start out by just telling your story through that story. Like I said, that's probably the best medium to start out with if you're not doing video ads yet, because what that's going to do is help you find your voice. That's going to help you find your voice. Again, you watch the earlier episodes of me doing videos, whether State of Real Estate or Ask the Instructor or any of the videos we've had earlier on. You know, you go back, I think maybe 2015, 2016 is where you'll see a lot of the earlier videos, which isn't that long ago. That's only a few years back. But you'll see I do not have the voice that I had today. And I don't mean just by the volume of my voice. I mean the inflection of my voice. I mean what I'm saying with my hands here when I do that. What I'm saying with my tone, with the pauses. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's the space between what you say. Because when you take a pause, that gives people time to think about what you just said. Now notice how that changes things. When you introduce some of those pauses there, when you say something where you want people to think about what it is that you just said, a pause can do that. So, look, this is not something that you're going to become an overnight success at. No matter how much you've trained on this, you're not going to become an overnight success. You have to actually do. You have to actually experience. You actually have to do this. Just like everything it is you're trying to learn. You really don't learn it until you actually do it. So start producing some content with the goal that you're producing new content every single day. And again, this does not have to be perfect. Your goal number one is to be seen. To be seen, number one. That's what's going to get you to omnipresence. And video isn't the only thing that's going to get there. Now, video is probably one of the most powerful mediums of advertising, but that doesn't mean don't use photos, don't use the written word. You still want to use all these. You still want to use direct mail and postcards. You still want to market every way possible to market, but you want to target this all at your target market. So every dollar you spend is being spent in the most effective, most meaningful way that's most likely going to start a conversation. You first have to brand and be seen. That's the omnipresence part of this. But then you need to convert, and that's starting a conversation. Especially in real estate where one person might represent tens of thousands of dollars in commission money. You want to start those conversations, and there's a lot of ways to start those conversations, but video is something that's number one going to get you seen, is going to start getting that omnipresence, and what you're saying can move them closer to starting a conversation. And that's why, again, you don't necessarily want to say too much. Keep it brief. That's going to make things simple. You don't have to make like some sort of 10-minute video. Most people aren't going to watch a video more than a minute. That's why the videos that we post every day, they're maybe a minute, maybe a couple minutes long, because people will have a short attention span. And as great as your content may be, they might not want to commit to watching that for 5, 10, 15 minutes. Even if it's just a little 30-second video, that's going to contribute to your omnipresence. Now look, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but stick with us. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, so if you're thinking about starting a real estate career, it could feel a little overwhelming sometimes. Look, that's completely understandable. That's why we're here to help. If you haven't already, check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success. Or if you don't even know where to begin, give us a call. We'd love to help you out. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that we can. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. Give us a call. We're the Tampa School of Real Estate. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, so welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate, where we're talking about using video to generate leads for your real estate business. Now, what you want to keep in mind is, again, your goal. Your goal number one, before you can get to step number two. You cannot skip step number one and immediately go to step number two. Too many people in marketing in general will skip number one and try to go directly to step number two. How often have you seen an ad before for a company you don't even know who they are, and it's an ad that says, buy our stuff, schedule a call today. And they're like, who are these people asking me to call them? Do you want to call a stranger? No. The average consumer doesn't want to talk to somebody they don't know. Most people don't want to talk to somebody that they don't know. So you can't go skip step one of getting them to know you and go right to asking them to do business with you. That would be as effective as you going out and just walking up to random people saying, hey, do you want me to help you buy a house? No. Hey, do you want me to help you buy a house? No. Hey, do you want me to help you sell your house? No. Do you want me to help you sell your house? No. People are not going to say yes to you. Now, you might get some yeses. You do it enough. Eventually, you'll come across that person who will say, yes, I do need to sell my house, complete stranger. Come help me sell my house. But that is probably 0.001% of the time where you actually get results by skipping step number one, which is not the way to lead generate, because what will happen is most people will give up before they get to that point where they get to that. And I don't blame them, because it's not going to, despite how much money we earn in commissions, it's probably not going to be cost effective if you're skipping step one. So you've got to follow this flow. You've got to first develop the omnipresence. This is also sometimes known as branding. You'll see that a lot of times when you go to run an ad campaign, whether you're doing that through YouTube or doing that through Facebook, which also is how you would market through Instagram, that they'll call it sometimes a branding campaign. And the branding campaigns are what start building awareness. That's another word we could use here. That you're using branding to develop awareness with the ultimate goal of omnipresence, where people know who you are because they've seen your ads 10, 20, 30 times. So they absolutely know who you are. And then when that moment strikes just right, when they're ready to start a conversation, they will start a conversation. So how do you keep this in mind when you're advertising? So the starting of a conversation, this is where you're asking somebody to take action. This is where you're asking somebody to take action. That they're seeing you, and now you're able to start a conversation, or you're asking them to start a conversation, to call us now, to fill out this form, to put in your email that you're going to get this free lead magnet thing. You're going to get this free guide. You're going to get this free guide to the 5 things you need to know before you sell your house. 5 things you need to know before you buy your house. 5 things you need to know as a first-time home buyer. These little headlines that you see all over the time, this is starting a conversation. Now you might say, well, John, I'm not talking to them yet. Yes, but they just gave you information. Even when somebody just gives you an email address, and email is a very difficult medium to be able to reach people and start that larger conversation. You're not going to have somebody go buy a house with you just via email. No, it's going to maybe start with an email, which turns into a phone call, which turns into an in-person appointment, which turns into multiple appointments to them eventually buying a house and making one of the biggest purchases of their life with you. But them giving you their email is them starting a conversation with you. Now all of a sudden we've switched from us just putting information out to them reciprocating information back to us. Because even though it's just an email, now they've said, hey, I'm interested in you. I want to find out more about you. So they give us their email, so that way we can start communicating with them further. Now, when you're doing lead forms and things like that, remember, less is more. The less information that you're asking for, the more likely somebody's going to fill out the information. If you're asking for name, address, phone number, date of birth, and all this other information, they're going to say, oh, wow, I don't want to get, this is an invasion of my privacy. That's how they're going to feel. Anytime you ask for anything more than just an email, you asking for the email sometimes feels like an invasion of privacy. But most people are willing to give an email, and that's why email is a hard and difficult medium to turn into a larger conversation, but it can be done. So you're starting this conversation and you're building this into a deeper conversation, starting with maybe just some emails. Maybe now another email comes back to say, hey, thank you so much for downloading my guide about the 5 things you need to know to sell your house. By the way, how long have you been thinking about selling your house? By the way, or if you don't mind me asking, when are you planning on selling your house? And starting this two-way conversation now through their email, and maybe getting to the point to say, hey, look, I'd love to call you. What's your phone number? And maybe you're including your phone number in there, because a lot of times you might have people that won't be willing to give their phone number, but they see your phone number and they say, okay, let me call this person. And that's, again, that's starting the conversation. That's validating that your advertising is working. Now, it does take a long time to get to that point because, again, first you need to develop the omnipresence. And the fastest way to develop omnipresence is by narrowing down to your target market. So you're reaching not a vast amount of people, but the people that you are reaching, you're reaching consistently. They're aware of you existing. They understand your brand. And when I say brand, I don't just mean your logo. I don't just mean your color scheme. I don't just mean your face. Your brand is what you stand for. Your brand is how you help your clients. Your brand is the reputation that you have. That's really the brand. And when they start to understand who you are, what you do, how you can help people, how you can help them, more importantly, that's where they're really starting to understand your brand. And that's really your goal in these omnipresence campaigns. And before that, getting through this awareness stage of just attracting their attention in the first place. And this is why you want to segment your advertising campaign to reach people at different stages in the funnel with different information and different content. Because when they're really early on in the process, you just are trying to get awareness. You're trying to get attention. And so that's the whole attention, then awareness, then branding, then omnipresence, and that's where you have the greatest chance of starting a conversation. But now, how do you get attention in the first place? Well, we're usually not going to get attention. Even me sitting there saying, hey, hello, can you hear me? That might grab some attention. You may be seeing some videos like that before. But what really will grab attention, this is maybe where video isn't always the only thing you need to do. No, you should be mixing this with other formats and other mediums as well. So maybe you start off with a picture of a house. I've talked about this a lot of times before with marketing and advertising, that people like the houses. That's what they dream about at night. That's the house. And so that's the bait almost that reels them in. And once we've got the attention, we could start to turn that into awareness about us, that, hey, we're maybe the person that's going to help them get into that dream house they have. And we're going to do that because of our brand and what we stand for and what we do and how we help people. And then we start to be omnipresent. But it all started with us just grabbing their attention with some sort of property and then working them and building them down this funnel to get them to the point where they're ready to start a conversation with us. And you add up all these steps here, and this isn't even really the most comprehensive. We've got getting attention, building awareness, establishing your branding, omnipresence, and then starting a career. That's 5 different stages just to where they're starting a conversation with you, just to the point of where maybe you're getting an email or they're starting to communicate with you. So keep that in mind as you go down this list here, that you're not there yet. Trying to get attention is not going to start a conversation by showing a house and saying, hey, look, do you want to tour this house? Click here. You might get some people who want to tour the house, but that's not getting them to the point where they have a relationship with you that's trusting you. You're no different than a Zillow, than Realtor.com, than Trulia, or whatever the case may be, when you're just using that attention piece to convert people. You're much more than just attention. You're just much more than just that property you're using to get the attention, and you use that, though, to transition into awareness, into branding, into omnipresence, into starting a conversation. And then using that conversation, that's where your sales skills kick in a little bit more at this point, because now you have a way to communicate directly to them. Because as direct as video may be, it's still a little bit indirect because you're not talking face to face with them. You're not having a two-way conversation with them. And when you get to starting a conversation, now you can have that two-way conversation with them and further converting them into actual business. So look, that's about all the time we've got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. Look, we've got a bunch of videos on advertising and marketing. It's State of Real Estate. So check that out. tampaschool.com/success is where we're going to be able to find all of these videos on advertising and marketing. Again, that's tampaschool.com/success. and you'll be able to find State of Real Estate, Ask the Instructor. If you're already watching on Facebook or watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that little bell icon so you get notifications whenever it is that we go live and we have videos to help you accelerate your real estate career. Or better yet, if you're really looking for the most help, call us at 813-333-2676. We can help you achieve your dream real estate career, whether you're just starting or you want to take your real estate career to the next level. 813-333-2676. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these videos, and I'll see you guys next week. Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. You're watching State of Real Estate.